Hello everyone, how are you guys? Hope you all will be doing right. Last class we left with the term expressions. We'll continue with that expression term. So let's continue. Numeric expressions. Because of the lack of mathematical symbols on computer keyboards, we use computer speak to express the classical math operators or operations. Asterisks is multiplications. Exponential looks different than in maths, but it's double star. Operator is addition, which is plus. Subtraction is a hyphen. Multiplication is a star. Division is slash, and power is a double star in Python, which is specifically to be considered in mind. Remainder is equals to the modulus operator, which we'll discuss in later. Numeric expressions. These are the numeric expressions where you will find the output with all these subsequently operators. Order of evaluation. It is one of the most important thing to be considered in the mind. When we string operators together, Python must know which one to do first. This is called operator precedence. Which operator takes precedence over the others. Here is an expression. Just try to find out what is going to be the output of 1 plus 2 star 3 minus 4 dividend of 5 star 6. Once you come up with the output, just make sure to watch the further. Operator precedence rules. Highest precedence rule to the lowest precedence rule. Parenthesis, power, multiplication, addition, and left to right. Suppose parentheses are always respected, because whenever you see parenthesis inside of any expression, you are going to execute that expression first before going to any further expression. Exponential is after the parenthesis, which is a raised to power. Multiplication, division, and remainder are coming up next after the exponential, and addition and subtraction coming up next is left to right. Suppose you counter with multiplication, division, and remainder in a single line, then what you're going to do is you are going to execute them from left to right. These are the simple and most, you can say, the operator rules through which you are going to execute a expression. So this was the expression we wanted to get the output. 1 plus 2 star 3 slash 4 star 5. Now what you are going to see here is 2 star 3 is going to be the number one parenthesis is not here, so we are going to execute power function as first. So 2 star 3 is 8 basically, and coming up the expression now comes up with 1 plus 8 slash 4 star 5. So now here is the expression, you can say equality, where slash and the multiplication sign are on the equal side. So what we are going to do is we are going to execute from the left to right. So first we are going to execute 8 dividend by 4, which is going to give us the output of 2, and after that 2 star 5 and 1 plus 10, which is equal to 11, which we are going to get as an output. Operator precedence. Remember the rules top to bottom. When writing code, use parentheses. When writing code, keep mathematical expressions simple enough that they are easy to understand. Break long series of mathematical operations to make them more clear. What does type mean? In Python, variables, variables and constants, we have a type. Python knows the difference between an integer number and a string. For example, plus means addition, and if something is a number, and concatenate if something is a string. So suppose we have assigned a variable which is ddd 1 plus 4, and now we are going to get output of ddd, which is 5. Now let's say another name which is triple E, and now we have assigned hello plus there, and now we are going to get the output of triple E is hello there. Now suppose if you want to get the output of 4 plus a string hello, which you are going to get the error of concatenation, where 4 is a numeric data type and hello is a string data type. So be sure that plus means addition, and if something is number, then it is going to get added with that number. If something is string, anything else will not be executed except for the string. Type matters. Python knows what type everything is. Some operations are prohibited. You cannot add one to a string, exactly that we've discussed in the last uh, slide. We can ask Python what types of something is by using a type function. So suppose if you want to get the type of whatever expression you have written or whatever variable's name you are wanting to get the output, you can simply use this type function and provide the constants or the variables which you want to get the output. Exactly the things that we have get output here. You can see here several types of numbers. Numbers have two main types. Integers are as a whole numbers, and floating point number have decimal parts. These are other number types. There are number other of types which are variations on float and integer. Basically we have just two types, integers and floating point number in Python. There are type conversion. When you put an integer and a floating point in an expression, the integer is implicitly converted to a float. Now implicitly is a term which is something that gets converted inside of that you can say interpreter. You don't have to specify things. Suppose you want to get the output of float 99 plus 100, what you are going to get output is 199.0. Here we have explicitly defined something. So explicitly means you are going to define something outside from outside, and implicitly means something gets executed through interpreter inside. So you can control this with the built-in functions int and float. Integer division produces a floating point result. Suppose you want to get the output of 10 upon 2, you're going to get 5.0. And if you want to get exactly the output of integer, you must use double slash. These are the expressions of getting an output of a float number. String conversion. You can also use int and float to convert integers and strings. Convert between strings and integers. You will get an error if the string does not contain numeric characters. Suppose we have a 1 2 3 and now we are going to get this as a conversion of integer, so you will get the string type. But suppose when you add svl to 1, you will get can't convert int object to str implicitly. So these are the some errors which you are going to get when you don't have a type of string which is basically a numeric number, and now you have converted it to this integer number and added 1 to it. So be sure to note that. User input. We can construct Python to pause and read data from the user using the input function. So if we want to get something into the interpreter, we must use input function, which is a predefined function inside of the Python which is used to get the input from the user. Basically, implicitly before assigning anything, input function returns a string. So if you want to input something integer type, you must specify or you must convert it to the integer function. So in this all slides we have learned about what are the user inputs, what are the string conversion, what are the integer division, what are the type conversion, what are the several types of numbers inside of the Python, which is basically float and integer. The type must matters before adding any string to a integer number, which is going to give you the output of int object to str implicitly cannot be converted. What does the type mean? Type means a type of data. Operator precedence must be considered because the precedence of executing a expression must be considered due to the presence of operator precedence. So this was the introduction for all these things. Be sure to be continued for the coming up next lecture. If you have any query, just comment, and for continuation just be sure for the coming up next videos and subscribe this channel for continuation of videos. Thank you so much for watching this video. Coming up next is the lecture of making a program, so be sure to subscribe and have a nice day.